Hello and welcome to this short video on e-invoicing solution that we have built for Oracle EBS customers in India. I am currently in Oracle Receivables module, and the version of eBusiness Suite that you're looking at here is 12.1.3. Our solution works perfectly for versions all the way up to 12.2.8 if you're on higher versions of Oracle. This is also good if you're on slightly lower versions than what you're seeing right now, which is 12.1.1, right? So pretty much the customers on release 12 are covered by this solution, all right? And what I'm going to do is, in order to demonstrate this solution, is I'm going to try and enter a manual transaction in accounts receivables. And while we perfectly understand that in your case you could have transactions flowing in from other systems like order management or projects billing, or you could have invoices flowing in from your legacy billing systems, the bottom line is the invoices land up in Oracle Receivables module. So that's the source of our integration. So we will look at invoices that are available in Oracle Receivables transactions form, select those invoices, push those invoices onto a staging area, we call it e-compliance portal, and generate the IR numbers and bring those and update it back in your Oracle receivables transactions. All right. So all of this over the next minute or minute and a half is what you're going to witness on your screen today. All right. So I'm going to quickly go navigate to transactions, select my source. So this is manual, obviously, because I'm keying in a manual transaction. If you've got different sources, it's perfectly okay. We will pull absolutely any invoice that's in completed status in the transactions form. All right, so I'm going to type in an invoice number that I can remember. So I'm going to say 2702-2027. All right, so that's the 7th invoice I'm creating today. Class is invoice, type is invoice. I'm going to select a customer that I can remember. All right, there we go. So that's my customer. The customer is based out of Tamil Nadu, India. So rest of the information has defaulted from the customer master. So you've got payment terms, you've got the paying customer, some of the other details that I need. I don't have any DFFs set up in this demo environment, so I'm going to go right into the line items. So if you've got items set up, you can select your items. If you've got memo line set up, you can select the standard line from the list of values here. So I am just going to go ahead and type a description. All right. So tab out. I'm going to put in the quantity of 1, price is 10,000 rupees, and simply save this transaction. All right. So that completes my transaction entry without the GST. So I'm going to enter the GST now. So as most of you are already familiar or already doing this, is the RUP patches that you've applied for a GST solution provide a menu for you to capture the GST information on your sale invoices. So I'm going to go into the India tax details. So I'm going to select my tax category. So we've got in this demo applications tax categories set up after IGST, CGST plus SGST, so on and so forth. So I'm going to just select IGST 18%. So I'm going to say the organization, my organization is a demo operating unit. So in your case, you could have multiple operating units set up, multiple legal entities. You just choose the right organization there. Or if some of you have customized this form to make it more user-friendly, to put in some controls around the list of values, that's perfectly fine, because none of these customizations really impact the e-invoicing solution that we've built. So let's go ahead and save this transactions. Make sure the GST of 18% on 10,000 rupees got applied and populated. So that's my total invoice amount. I'm just simply going to just close this inner screen. So I'm back to the main menu. To see the amounts populated here, I simply need to push the complete button. There we go. So that's my line item, that's my GST, that's my total invoice amount. All right. So that's pretty much the usual process that you go through as a business user to create your manual invoice transactions. Obviously, if you've got transactions that you import from order management, they just show up in this screen with source as order management. Or if you've got any other legacy system, they show up with the source that you've defined for those imported transactions. All right. The key, so I'm possibly repeating myself, the key is we've got to have the transactions imported into your transactions form in accounts receivables for this integration to work. Okay, and they should be in completed status, right? Not incomplete transactions. All right, we don't need these transactions to be accounted, they just need to be complete. All right, now the crux of this integration lies in a PLSQL procedure that we have developed, that we're going to now invoke using a concurrent program. Now this concurrent program is going to be scheduled in your environment every 5 minutes, because we want to generate these e-invoices nearly real time. I mean, almost instantaneously as soon as your invoices are created. So we cannot batch these to run overnight. We have to, schedule it sooner than that. So let's just say, let's schedule these to run every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and it's going to pick up all the transactions that were not previously picked up in an incremental fashion. It's going to push these out to the e-compliance portal. So let's see how it does that. So I'm going to say demo operating unit. Let's pick up everything that got generated this morning since the last time we have pushed these out to the demo portal. Like I said, you don't have to manually run this program. This is going to be scheduled in an environment, and everything is going to be pushed within 5 minutes into the e-compliance portal, and IRN numbers are going to get generated. So let's submit that. I don't want to submit another request. Find. So that's already complete. So let's close this. So I'm going to take you to my e-compliance portal, right? Say hello to e-compliance portal, your one-stop shop to visualize the entire e-invoicing solution. All right, and we've also in the process of enhancing the e-compliance portal, and we're adding a range of dashboards. We are pushing information that could be useful for you to comply with your GST regulations or income tax regulations in the form of TDS and things like that. We'll talk about some of the other features in the e-compliance portal in a separate video. As far as this e-invoicing solution is concerned, that's how the landing page is going to look like. So this is telling you that you've got 28 invoices in all, 27 successfully generated, one invoice is in error. So one invoice did not generate the IRN number. Could be a range of issues. It's probably missing a mandatory information that's required by the government API, right? So you have to have a GST number of the buyer. You have to have a proper address for the buyer. So some of this information are mandated by the government APIs, right? If any of that information is missing, it's going to say error occurred, and then in another field in this form, it's going to tell you what that error is, so you can fix the problem and simply give it another 5 minutes. So it's going to automatically refresh, and it's going to generate the IRN number. So there's really no manual intervention at this point in time for you to generate these IRN numbers. However, we have also built a little checkbox here that allows you to generate the IRN numbers on the fly. I mean, if you're in a hurry, you cannot wait for 5 minutes, we've got the button for you. So that just click of that generates the IRN numbers for the transaction if it's good to go. All right. Okay. So I'm going to refresh the screen. That's going to bring back all the transactions that got imported from Oracle receivables into e-compliance portal. So that's the transaction I'm looking for, and that's your IRN number. In addition to the IRN number, the integration with the government APIs also bring back a QC code. I beg your pardon, the QR code. The QR code is required to be printed on your invoices. All right, so we've got IRN number and we've got the QR codes. Both needs to be printed on your invoice, and we have that stored in your Oracle e-business suite. And you need to modify some of your invoice print programs. If you already have a custom program that generates invoice in a certain format, you just need to modify that to include a couple of additional attributes like IRN number and QR code on that invoice. All right, so that concludes our technical presentation. Just to summarize, we've got this beautiful solution for EBS customers in India. The process is pretty seamless for the end users. You just go about creating your invoices in the usual way, or importing your invoices from order management usual way. The integration works behind the scenes, extracts the information, generates the IRNs, and just make sure that you stand in compliance with the regulations all the time. That concludes our technical presentation on e-invoicing solution. We are happy to answer any technical questions that you may have regarding the e-invoicing solution for EBS. Please drop in a note to info@seertree.com with your questions, and we'll get right back to you. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.